Yoink!
A few moments later.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of the Shadow King Trial Mega Guide. Now we're going to be tackling nodes 6 through 10 in this video. If you want to see nodes 1 through 5, please check out the video in the description or in the comment section below. To catch up on difficulty and packs being used, we are doing the highest difficulty with all packs except for the health packs. And that is because we are using our mid-game account, where we do have some nasty damage checks that are not really achievable with a 6-star Annihilator team. Now, they do have to be 6-star to enter difficulty 15. So before you complain about yours being smaller, just note that this is going to work on whatever difficulty you can enter. We do have some mitigating strategies to combat this very difficult node, starting with the Sasquatch on the far left. We're going to use Gore Basic to give him a defense down, and we're going to use Ultimus Ultimate to take the Sasquatch out. Also to apply ability block to both pandas. Next, we're going to use the Silver Surfer Ultimate to strip the Sasquatch of his defense up. This is very important because next I need my endgame Thanos to land the Expose on said Sasquatch. For one more big RNG check, I need my Gladiator to strip the offense up off of these pandas. And unfortunately, we didn't get both. The next super important thing is going to be to survive these pandas and then to not push them to 50% until after their first turn. If they do get pushed to 50%, they're going to clear all those debuffs, they're going to gain taunt, and then they're going to use their ultimate, which is an insanely large heal with a bunch of different buffs that is going to be hard to overcome. But now that we've had them take their first turn, we're going to start turning our attention towards them. Let's try and get these buffs off. We can put an ability block on this panda now that he's dropped below 50. And I need my endgame Thanos to finish off these pandas before the next wave drops in, as there is a dead pool, and that dead pool will increase the revive chance of these pandas by 40%. With both pandas neutralized, we're going to start getting ready for the second wave. Looks like the second and third wave dropped in tandem, so it is now a race to take out the old man Logan before he takes us out. There are other threats we need to worry about along the way as well, though. We do have the North Star, who's going to give us some nasty debuffs. The Sunfire, who's going to do an amazingly large ultimate attack to us with that offense up. So we do want to make sure we're taking out as many characters as possible. This now could come down to RNG, depending on where Thanos chains, who he hits, the kind of damage he does, crits, all those kind of situations. It looks like in this instance we are in luck. I do want to take out the Guardian, as he does have a very strong hitting attack as well. The most important character to leave this node really healthy is going to be my endgame Thanos, because I do want him for the Brawler node. I would like to have this entire team alive for node 10. You don't necessarily need them for node 10, but it's going to make your life a whole lot easier if you have two teams and you're just trying to get through the milestones. As you can see, guys, this was a very, very clean hit. Do not be surprised if you need to reset this half a dozen to even a dozen times, especially if you're doing a big punching range as I am here with my Annihilators. Next up is the second global villain node. This is an extremely easy node, and you could use it to regain some cooldowns for brawler characters that we're going to be using on the next node. In particular, I have Namor and Lady Deathstrike. I'm not sure what their cooldowns are like right now, but if I can get them to survive the opening attack, Leader will heal them up tremendously, and we'll be set for the brawler node. And just like that, it looks like we're going to be ready to get these characters all their cooldowns back and ready for the Brawler node. Lady Deathstrike already had all of her cooldowns. Looks like Namor has all of his cooldowns available as well. And he is steadily getting healed up by the leader. This will be the last time we need our global villains that do not have the brawler tag, so don't be afraid to use some cooldowns to get these guys healed up in time. And that is it for the easy section in the trial, where we're going to be using it to stage our cooldowns and build up our characters. Heading into the second brawler node, it's important to note this node is more difficult than it seems on paper. We are facing off against unlimited X-Men with their crucible buffs and astonishing X-Men with lots of out-of-turn damage. For that reason, I bring in Vol with the rest of the brawlers we used on the first brawler node. We did prepare our Namor here. If he's lively enough, you could bring him in as well, or you could use him as a burn attack or clean up attack if you're struggling through the node. Like the first brawler node, we're going to open up with the ultimate from Nightcrawler, applying slow to everybody, and this is why I appreciate Vol on this node. She gets out an early expose as well as defense up to our team. That's going to allow us to absorb a lot of this nasty damage from the enemy. You'll also notice endgame Thanos right in the middle. We want him to absorb as many attacks as possible, so his passive pops, and he's going to take all of their nasty buffs away. And then he's going to use his stun on the rogue. The reason we use the stun on the rogue is because of the crucible rules. If she uses her special, it's going to attack our character with the highest speed bar and neutralize them. The big obstacle in this node is going to be to get off of the rogue and onto the gambit so you can take him out in time. You notice I used Nightcrawler special. The reason for that is I saw an extra dodge on the gambit and wanted that taken out before this attack, where I'm able to neutralize the gambit and pretty much neutralize the rest of the node. There's not many threats left on this node at this point, so I'd like to start regaining cooldowns on my endgame Thanos if I'm going to be using him on the final node. Now I'll be showing you a strategy that you do not need to use your Annihilators on the final node, so you can go ahead and let loose your abilities if you feel the need to. Heading into the second Mercenary Undying node, we're going to just utilize our full Mercs for Money team. The reason for this is that Deathpool does get speed bar because of the Crucible rules. She will call Old Man Logan in for an early assist, and he will set the stage for the rest of the node. There are 3 permadeath threats on this node, which is the only real threat to the Mercs for Money team. That is going to be Nova's ultimate, Gwenpool's ultimate, and Deathpool's ultimate. So the first thing we want to do is control this Nova. I'm going to go ahead and use the Deathpool special that does percentile damage. And then whatever Old Man Logan ability you have ready to go, we'll also throw that at the Nova. If it is the ultimate, it's going to be flipping those regens from Dagger into bleeds, and that should really hurt your enemy characters. It's important to note, Nova can stun the Logan if he drops him to 50% life on the attack. Now that didn't happen here, and so this should equal an easy win for us. Now that we're in control of the node, we can play around with our cooldowns with Old Man Logan however we would like to, really set the stage for when future waves drop in, and we shouldn't have any threats. So when Gwenpool drops, I'll try and get control of her as soon as possible. And when Deathpool drops, I'll turn my attention to her. Now that the permadeath characters have been taken care of, we have very little worry about, so we'll just start working down these Infinity Watch characters. Heading into node number 10, the final node of the Shadow King Trials, and it's important to note that this is an optional node if you're only trying to do milestones, or it's going to be a node to help distinguish the leaderboards. But please keep in mind the leaderboards are going to be hyper competitive, since the Annihilator and Illuminati teams were available for a very long time in-game and are already made free-to-play farmable. But if you want to tackle this node, there are two different methods. You could start by using the Annihilators. I did ask you guys to keep your Annihilators alive so that you'd have this option heading into this node. And if you do that, you could use your Annihilators to kill all the Asgardians up to, but not including the Odin. You can get through the Odin if you have big enough Annihilators. Or you can easily one-shot this node using your Illuminati team. Once again, if you have Captain Britain built up, you could use him as opposed to Black Bolt, but I'll use the same team we used on node 2. Same positioning and same ISOs as well, as it's going to net us the most amount of defense downs and energy to the characters that need it the most. Once the Valkyrie drops, we're going to want to take her out as quickly as possible. This is going to be a little bit of an RNG check. When she dies, there's a 50% chance that she will cleanse all the debuffs and apply a bunch of buffs to the enemies. If this happens, we could just reset, or we can try and fight through it. One thing's for sure though, we want this to occur before the next wave drops in, as this wave is much easier to handle. Now luckily we didn't get any of those buffs from the Valkyrie, so this is going to be quite easy for us. Once one more enemy gets taken off the field, the next wave is going to drop in. And from this wave, we want to take the Vol out first, and then we want to take out the Hela soon after that. Once there are only 3 enemies remaining, and that does include Greg, Odin is going to be dropping into the field. Try and do as much single target damages as possible. The offense down is a very unfortunate debuff on us right now. It could be a good time for us to stall and wait until Shuri not only has no offense down, but has more charges as well. Now that we have the cleanse from Hank, that'll get rid of those offense downs for us, and we can start working down this Odin. We'll start by landing a defense down on the Odin with our Iron Man, and then we'll use the Shuri ultimate targeting the Odin. We could target the Sylvie to make sure she dies here as well, but just making sure that the Odin goes down to the assist is going to make this a much easier match. And that's it, guys. This node was more of a meme, more of a celebration node where we get to tackle Odin and a bunch of Asgardians, so I hope that you had fun tackling it the same way I did when it first came out. But that's also going to be it for this guide, guys. I hope it found you well. I hope it helps you in your Shadow King trial adventures. If you're going to be facing off for the leaderboards, I'm not really going to be making too many like super in-depth videos on the efficiency run, because then all I'm really doing is pitting people against each other as opposed to against the PvE mode, because it is an efficiency slog. You need to have all the serums turned on, and it does require some niche key characters to speed things up. I guess I give you guys a couple hints. We did a couple hints in the recording of this video. Utilizing Iron Patriot, not just Cabal, but Iron Patriot on as many nodes as possible is very beneficial. Lady Death Strike is a super interesting character in more nodes than just the Brawlers. Then you have to worry about cooldowns a little bit, but it does seem to pay off. And maybe having one more cooldown built up on node 1 could make the second Brawler node a little bit more simple. I hope that helps you guys in your adventures. But for now, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. If you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.